Hello, guys, and welcome back to the FPL Duo. We're back for a deadline stream, as always, on a Saturday morning. How you doing, Jordan? Everything good?
Yeah, everything's good. The weekend is here, and Gameweek 12 is just around the corner. But we have a few problems to talk about, as we have a lot of flags in our team. So yeah, I think that's going to be one talking point. I think this week, I don't feel like it's going to be a week where we can roll the transfer for most, but we'll have to see, obviously, with our teams.
Yeah, definitely. Few flags in the team, and we've got to sort that out. I'm just lining up my team so you guys can see it properly. Bear with me for a sec. Can you guys see that? Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, welcome everybody to the stream. And yeah, let's get on with it. So game week 12, it's quite a big game week, I think. A lot of interesting debates. You know, a lot of people have players like Madison in the team that you got to look out for and take out. You know, we've got Dan Burn, as you can see, he's flagged. There's like the likes of Saka, who's currently still flagged, and that's up in the air whether he's going to play or not. So we're going to break it all down. But yeah, let's start off with what my team currently looks like. So in goal, I am playing Areola. I have a back three of Matty Cash, Gabriel, and Tsimikas. I have a midfield five of Saka, Diaby, Son, Palmer, and Salah. Salah is my captain. As you guys know, I was debating Salah Haaland this week, and I'm going to place the captain's armband on Salah. I'm not 100% confident on it, but I just think Liverpool will probably bounce back in this game. And because it's a home fixture for Liverpool, I'm going to go with Salah. I think Liverpool could get the job done, but I do expect a tough game for Liverpool, to be fair, as well. And up front, you got Watkins and Haaland to complete the team. On the bench, as you guys can see, I've got a flag with Dan Burn, and Dan Burn has to be transferred out. And Archer and Taylor. Now, when I look at my team, I could actually roll the transfer and hope Saka's fit. However, I am actually planning on making a move. And that move I'm planning on making is, I think, is for Tsimikas. Now, Tsimikas is an interesting pick because, as we saw last game week, he was benched against Luton. And a lot of us didn't see that one coming. He also played 45 minutes in the Europa League on a Thursday against Toulouse, I think it was. And Tsimikas was at fault for the first goal. And he's not really played well, you know, the last game. And then that leaves me with a bit of a worry that Klopp could decide to bench Tsimikas again against Brentford, because Brentford are a team that, you know, they're physical, they like to get in your face, they're front-footed. Will he prefer going with Gomez for that defensive security on the left back? So I wouldn't be surprised if Tsimikas does get benched, which again is a worry for the Tsimikas owners. So my plan currently is to actually transfer out Dan Burn and bring in an interesting player. So let me show you guys what I'm actually thinking of doing. So the player I'm looking at is Livramento at Newcastle. Now, as we know, Newcastle have some injuries with Dan Burn, the left back, and Trippier has gone over to left back, and we've seen Livramento come on and play right back. We saw against Arsenal, he played 45 minutes in game week 11 in the win. He looked very impressive. He looked assured. He dealt with Martinelli very well in that second half, and I wouldn't be surprised if he just carries on playing, because we know Newcastle have a few injuries with Botman as well in the defense. So Livramento is actually an interesting pick, I think, at 0.5% ownership differential, 4.3 million. He's cheap, and I am actually tempted to bring him in when he's got that fixture against Bournemouth. If he starts, I think he could be good value in terms of a clean sheet, maybe an attacking return as well. And then after that, I'm hoping I can get away with playing him in some of these fixtures like Everton, assuming obviously Dan Burns out for a long period of time. You know, he's out till next year. So Livramento should get a lot of games. And we know Trippier can play left back. So that is what I'm thinking of going with Livramento. Let me know what you guys think as well in the chat. What do you think of the move though, Livramento? I don't know if you saw obviously his performance against Arsenal coming on, and then Trippier interestingly shifted to the left back.
Yeah, I was a bit slightly worried and surprised at the same time, but yeah, that does with Trippier owners now. That's kind of a blow because he's not got that attacking threat as much now because of Livramento playing in front of him. So yeah, that is a spanner in the works in that sense. But if you haven't got Trippier and you decide to bring Livramento, I think you're in a good position because he's basically going to be Trippier for basically this whole entire year. That's what's left of it, because obviously Dan Burn's out for a while. So yeah, that could work out pretty well if he can get the attacking returns like Trippier has done this season. Then he might be a good differential Newcastle defender to go for instead of Trippier, who's more expensive, and obviously Livramento as well.
Yeah, the only problem is going with Livramento is the fact that, is he going to get benched in every now and then? Because we know Newcastle, to be fair, Newcastle don't really rotate much in defense at all, unless it's injuries, obviously with Botman and Burn. But I do think Livramento is a nice little option to have, guys. I think he could be one to go on early, and I want to take a bit of risk. Now, this isn't usually a type of transfer I'd make because obviously I do kind of play the game a bit more safe. Livramento doesn't feel safe because there is Lewis Hall as well. So Lewis Hall is a worry for people that want to go Livramento because Lewis Hall can play left back. So Eddie Howe couldn't just play Lewis Hall left back and then play Trippier in his normal position. So that is the worry. However, Lewis Hall hasn't really played any minutes in the Premier League at all. He's played 9 minutes in game week 6 against Sheffield in the 8-0 win. So he doesn't look like he's gonna get minutes. He might get, a game, the odd game, but I don't see with these tough fixtures coming up in 13, 14, Chelsea, Man United, Everton, these bigger games. I'm not sure he's going to play Lewis Hall after only playing 9 minutes so far this season. So in that sense, I'm not too worried. Target's obviously still out, and he's expected to be back in February, so don't need to worry about him. So everything points to bringing in Livramento, and I think I'm going to do it. Also, Lascelles is an interesting, and obviously he's not another defender that people are talking about. Linus, what about Lascelles? I want to get your thoughts on Lascelles. What do you make of him as a pick? Because for those that went on a Game Week 8 wildcard, bought him in at 3.9 million at the time. Obviously, it's paid dividends because you look at what he's done since then. Game Week 8, okay, he blanked. Game Week 9, he gets a clean sheet. Against Arsenal, he gets a 9-pointer as well.
Yeah, he was a nice cheap option to go for, especially in the absence of obviously the defenders for Newcastle injury-wise. Yeah, I mean, he's a good defender to bring in, especially if you did bring him in, obviously, when he was 3.9 million. Now he's 4.1, so he's had a few price rises. I expect that to obviously happen a couple more times. But it all depends, I think, how many clean sheets you see for Newcastle as well. Because their fixtures are a bit up and down, snakes and ladders, going like into game week 13 and 14 especially, and then 17. But yeah, it's difficult because you want to find a replacement for Dan Burn, but you also want a Newcastle defender as well, preferably that has some attacking threat. I mean, Lascelles hasn't had many any attacking returns, but you solely rely on him for clean sheets as well.
Yeah, the thing with Lascelles, I think if you have him in your team, he's only going to get you a clean sheet. He's not really going to score your goal, if at all. He's not going to get any assist. You look at he's a centre back, so you can't expect attacking returns for him. I'm not a big fan of Lascelles still. I just think it depends on Botman, you see, because Botman is currently out. It's unknown return date. And the worry is Botman comes back. As soon as he's back, Lascelles is dropping to the bench. I mean, that's fair to say. So with Lascelles, it is very short term. If you got him in game week 8, fair play. You've done really well. But I don't know how much longer Botman's out for. And I'd be worried about bringing Lascelles in because I know as soon as Botman's back, he's going to be on the bench. So I wouldn't like to bring Lascelles in. I would prefer taking a punt on Livramento. Lascelles is more nailed. Obviously, Lascelles is going to play until Botman's back. But I just think if Botman comes back in game week 14, for example, against Man United at home, you'll have a headache thinking, oh, I need to transfer Lascelles out because he's now on the bench because Botman's back. So for that reason, I'm not too keen on Lascelles at the moment. I'm more keen on a Livramento and playing the upside and going for a bit of a risk. On the subject about Livramento, is it worth taking a -4? I'm not so sure it is. I wouldn't want to take a -4 to bring in a defender, personally. It depends on who you're playing as well, what defenders you have. If you've got no defenders at all, you're playing with like 9 men, 10 men, then yeah, I'd do it. But if you've got 11 playing players, I wouldn't take a -4 for a Livramento.
No, especially for a defender who we don't know if he's gonna, obviously, how many minutes he's gonna play and how many starts he's gonna get for, obviously, Newcastle, because as I've spoken about Lewis Hall, he can obviously play in that position, and then Trippier plays in his original right back position. So yeah, I don't think at this moment in time it's a wait and see for Livramento, see how he gets on, but no, not for -4, just to be safe.
We've got Dan in the chat. We've got Elliot in the chat. Hi, guys. Hope you're well. If you guys are just tuning in, make sure you do smash the like button as well, guys. Much appreciated. Don't think Hall can play against Chelsea anyway, right? No, he can. It was a permanent transfer. I think it was for what 28 million move, wasn't it, for Lewis Hall to Newcastle? So yeah, he can play against Chelsea. Bruno Fernandes, I believe that is, or Ferguson. I mean, that's a big difference in price.
Yeah. I mean, some good news for Ferguson. He signed a new contract for Brighton. I think it was a 5-year one. So he's staying on, obviously, for Brighton, which is a good sign. I think he'll be very prosperous in a given time. I think along down the line, he will become a nice forward for Brighton. I do like Ferguson, especially for the fixture that Brighton have, Sheffield United at home. If he is to play that game, I think I'd want to go on a punt to bring him in, because that's one of those fixtures where you see a player like Ferguson do really well. And like we saw with Nketiah, he had a nice fixture, I believe, against
Sheffield, wasn't
United. Yeah, so and he
With the
got a hat trick. So in these fixtures where you're against newly promoted teams, you do see a lot of variation in players scoring rather than the main ones that we normally do see. So yeah, I do like the look of Ferguson, especially for the fixture in Game 12.
Yeah, for me, Ferguson, again, it's his minutes. I just don't trust it. He could be on the bench. He could, start. We just don't know. So for that reason, I wouldn't be keen on going on Ferguson. Regards to Bruno, again, we've spoke about Man United a lot on this channel because, they have been pretty poor this season. You look at Game Week 12, again, it's probably one of the best fixtures you can have. Saying that, Luton did get a draw against Liverpool last weekend. However, it's at home. Man United, Luton at home. For me personally, I'm avoiding Man United players completely. I don't think I want to go near there. They just don't look good at all. If you want to play the fixtures, go ahead, guys. Luton and Everton, some decent fixtures, but I'm completely off United assets, and I'm sure you're the same.
Oh yeah, absolutely. that still hasn't changed my mind about how I feel about Man United assets.
Yeah, we just straight ignore Saka to Mbeumo, Archer to Ferguson, or Saka to Bruno. Saka chat, actually, because I saw a video on Twitter. It was like going around that Saka did travel with the team. Now we know Arteta is very he doesn't give much away in press conferences. He doesn't really say whether players are injured or not. He thinks he's like he doesn't want to give anything away. So what do you reckon about Saka? Do you think he'll play? Because we've seen this tactic from Arteta before where he makes out like his players are injured, but then they start and then they play. And Saka especially, he doesn't miss too many games. So are you worried about Saka as an owner? What do you make of it? Like, is he going to start?
Well, I'm worried that he missed training 2 days ago, which doesn't fill with much confidence. But with Arteta, it's like trying to predict Pep. You never know what's going to come out in that lineup for obviously the team. So I'm 50-50 whether Saka plays or not. I mean, Arteta's always reluctant to play Saka nonetheless, even if he's slightly got a knock or an injury like he had before.
Yeah, he always plays him.
Yeah, he overly plays Saka, which sooner or later he's going to get a very serious injury, and that's going to put a dent in Arsenal's midfield. But I'm hoping he does start Saka, even though he missed training 2 days ago. But if news
Yeah.
is right about him travelling, then maybe he makes the bench at least.
Yeah, I think I saw a video of him traveling. He was with the squad, so that leads me to believe that he's going to play. Because what's the point making him travel all the way if he's not going to start? So I think we could be fine with Saka owners. Hopefully, you've got a semi decent bench. I've got Archer as of now, so again, it's not a great bench, but I'm going to take the risk and just play Saka because we've not heard anything from Arteta, and for that reason, I'm going to keep him because the fixture's very nice. Burnley at home, Brentford, Wolves after that, Luton as well. So these are some nice 4 fixtures now for coming up for Arsenal, and I think you want to have Saka for this running. Even though I've not been impressed with Arsenal's attack. Just to ask you this question, I don't know how much
Yeah.
games have you watched with Arsenal this season, but they're not creating as many chances. I think that's fair to say in terms of the attacking unit. It's not completely clicking. Now, saying that, obviously Saka still performed fairly well in terms of points per match, but what you made of the Arsenal attack? Are you like,
Yeah.
what's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it's definitely not been the same like it was last season, where we saw Martinelli score goals, saw Odegaard score goals, and obviously Saka scoring the goals. So you saw a lot of sharing of goal opportunities between those three midfielders. But this season, they've mostly came from Saka or Trossard. Martinelli, he has been out here and there in terms of injuries, and I think that has affected the team. And he hasn't been really the same, Martinelli. I mean, he has been attacking on that left-hand side, but whenever he takes opponents on, I feel like he does too much in some circumstances and either loses the ball or just passes it back. So it's things like that, especially with Jesus being out injured as well. He was more involved last season, but he's been suffering from multiple injuries this season, and they've had to play in Nketiah, which hasn't been such a bad idea. I do like Nketiah as a player. I think he's more consistent than Jesus. So there is certain difference in changes of teams because of injuries. Even Partey, he's out injured as well. That's going to affect the team. And Kai Havertz has had to play more minutes as well. So I think it's mostly down to injuries, I think, and obviously rotation of players in the squad as well. In that, especially in that attacking sense of Arsenal, it's definitely changed this season.
Yeah, where I'm going with this is obviously last season, if Arsenal had these fixtures, Burnley, Brentford, Wolves, Luton, we'll be doubling on their midfield. We'll be getting in Saka, Odegaard, or Saka and Martinelli. But I just don't see that same attacking threat from
No.
Arsenal this season. I'm actually looking at a stat. Arsenal are 20th for expected goals in terms of their match. So one thing I've realized about Arsenal, I think what Arteta has gone with this season, he wants to be more solid. He doesn't want chaos in matches. He wants it controlled. He'd rather win 1-0, I think, than win a 3-2, which is obviously going for the title. That's what you need to be, have as many clean sheets as possible. And I think that's what I've seen with Arsenal. They are more about just getting the job done. If it's a 1-0, they'll do it. They don't want their games open. And you watch Liverpool, for example, in comparison, Liverpool are happy to play a basketball game end to end, 3-2s, stuff like that. Liverpool are more, Liverpool games in general have created the most XG so far this season, and Arsenal are actually 20th. So their games are, and that is actually maybe a testament to Arsenal defense. Maybe they are more solid defensively. However, they aren't as, exciting to watch going forward, in my opinion. They're not creating as many chances. However, saying that, they've only lost 1 game. But yeah, there is that subject I've got, talk about it because obviously Arsenal, there were people saying, is their attack the exact same and whatnot. So, but yeah, I'm still happy holding Saka for this game. We'll see how
Yeah.
Arsenal do, but I've not been completely impressed with the Arsenal attack in recent weeks.
Yeah, I think at least one Arsenal midfielder is enough. I don't think you necessarily need more than that. Like we saw last season, we used to have Martinelli, Odegaard, and even Saka. Some of us had 3 in the midfield because it was so good. Like it didn't matter which midfielder you had because one of them you would know would return, or all of them. But this season, I think it's more reserved, obviously in the attacks. So going with 1, I think is probably the most you necessarily need.
A few more questions coming in. I should take this one from Mark. I bought in Martinelli and Gabriel for Madison and Burn. Yeah, those moves are good. I probably would have preferred Saliba ahead of Gabriel just because I think Saliba's a bit more nailed. Gabriel can miss the odd game. However, I think it is due to rest, but it seems like Saliba is the main guy in that defense. He's not going to miss a game if he's fit. Start Gurhi or Tsimikas. I would probably start Gurhi because there's a worry with Tsimikas that he could be dropped, and Klopp could go with the physicality of Gomez at left back. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'd probably go Gurhi. And also, best of luck to you, Mark. Hope you're well. I've done Udogi, Burn, and Zuma to Saliba, Gabriel, and Lascelles for bench boost -8.
Okay.
Wow.
That's a bit unfortunate that you had Udogi, you got suspended, you got Burn, who got injured, and Zuma is injured. So yeah, you're
Zuma's
free.
injured as well, isn't he?
Yeah, 3 red flags for you, Dan. I'm sorry to hear that, especially when you have to use your bench boost this early on for -8.
Harry says Son to Bruno. Nope. Simple as that. There's no way I'm bringing in Bruno for Son. Son's an out of position player playing up front, and he's scoring. For me, Son is as important now as like a Salah Haaland. Like,
yeah,
he's that. I don't want to get rid of him. I think Son. There is that slight debate, maybe with all the injuries Spurs have now. Maddison's out. Richarlison's out for a while, even though he wasn't playing as much. Van der Ven is a big blow. Udogi's obviously injured as well. Romero is going to miss a couple games. Do you expect a downturn in Spurs' performances, which is going to be maybe fair to say, because the fixtures do turn again. Wolves, Villa, City, West Ham, Newcastle. These are tough games, especially with the injuries and the suspensions they have. What do you think for Son? Is it going to weaken Son in terms of no Maddison?
I don't think it will weaken Son. I mean, the chances that Son may be less than what we saw with Maddison in the team, and obviously the rest of the Spurs players. But no, I don't think it's bad that obviously Maddison is out injured for pretty much till next year.
It's a big blow. How well Maddison started the season.
Yeah, after just obviously entering Spurs so short term, and he seems like he's fitted in really well at Spurs. Didn't seem like he was struggling at all with the move, and yeah, he's pretty much the source of most of Son's goals. Maddison, he's literally the deliverance of him passing the ball to him and normally scoring. But I think in terms of Son, I still think he's an important asset to have. Despite Maddison being out injured, there's still players like Kulusevski who can do pretty much similar to what obviously Maddison can do, because we saw that with Kulusevski and Harry Kane when Harry Kane was at Spurs. So no, I'm not too concerned about Son. Obviously, we have to see. I am worried about Spurs' clean sheets on the other hand, because obviously Udogi's out, Romero is out, and that might be a lever.
Van der Ven as well, out to the new year. That's a big one for Spurs because he's been massive in their start to the season, I think.
Yeah, so there might be some very serious issues in the back for Spurs, vulnerabilities in terms of if they can keep clean sheets or not. But the attacking sense, I don't think I'm worried as much as the defense.
Okay. Just me on the question again on the Son subject, I do think it will weaken Spurs. I don't think Spurs will be as good. I mean that's quite obvious. I think without some of their best players, Maddison, Van der Ven, Udogi. I don't know what to expect from that Wolves game. In terms of, I still think Spurs will get a win, but I definitely will. I think there will be a drop now in Spurs because those are key players for them, and I just don't see the subs. As we know with Spurs, they don't have the squad depth like the other teams in to come in and fill that void. You've got the likes of Dyer coming on and what's his name, the right back Emerson Royale, who's just not the same. So yeah, I will see Spurs and it's going to be interesting to see how they cope with that situation. Fahid says, who's the best captain choice between Saka, Salah, Haaland, and Watkins? Good question, because obviously we have not really discussed captaincy. As you guys can see, with my team, I've gone Salah captaincy against Brentford at home. I want to touch on the other options as well. I want to get your thoughts in a sec, but the reason I've gone Salah is maybe more just my heart than my head. I don't know. I think Salah did play in the Europa League game. He came on, I think, second half. He didn't really have too many chances. Liverpool were pretty poor in that game. However, Liverpool did play a second string team, rotated out 9 players, I believe, from the Luton draw. so it's what's to be expected. However, I think Liverpool at home is a different team. I think they are a lot better at home than away. Um, and again, Salah's been great so far this season. Bar that Luton game, I think where that was his worst performance of the season. He's been great in every game, and he's on penalties, as we know, which is a big factor when it comes to captaincy for me. The other players, for example, Watkins, I completely rule Watkins out personally as a captaincy option for me because he's not on penalties. So for that reason, straight away, Watkins, I'm not considering. Saka is flagged. I don't even know if he's going to start. Even if he does start, is he going to be 100%? Because he seems like he's been playing with knocks and stuff. So for me, that reason, even though Saka's got a great fixture, I've just not looked at Saka, if I'm being honest. Haaland, you always have to look at because it's Haaland, Chelsea away. Haaland, again, is that high upside. In any game, he can score a hat-trick. However, I've been quite impressed with Chelsea's defense. And Chelsea's defense is actually, I believe, top 5 defense in the league in terms of underlying data. They don't concede many goals in terms of even the big chances. So surprisingly, when I was looking at the stats, Chelsea's defense holds up quite well. So for that reason, that's why I've gone Salah as well. So, but you're different. You're going Haaland. Talk us through why you want to go Haaland, and what's the thinking behind that? And for you, it's obviously a clear decision this week.
Yeah, it's obviously a clear decision this week because obviously Saka is a flag, so I won't go there. Watkins, I'm not sure what we will get from that Fulham at home game. But on Haaland, after scoring 2 goals and again assist against Man United, it has filled me with confidence because that was an away fixture, and I seem like Haaland seems to deliver more in the away fixtures than he has done in the home ones as well. On the subject of obviously Chelsea this season, we've seen a bit of snakes and ladders for them, especially the first game which they had against obviously Luton. That was the only game that looked convincing for Chelsea, and obviously results after that onwards have been a bit up and down. Well, obviously the Spurs one was their next greatest win. But we have to look on that as well. They were down. Spurs were down to 9 men, so it was pretty easy for Chelsea to obviously win that game. Even though in my opinion, they played that role. They played really poor, Chelsea, I think, throughout that match. But again, on the subject of Haaland, he did score 2 goals in these other competition as well. And I feel like if he's still scoring goals, then I feel like he's going to be my captain for the foreseeable future on obviously the fantasy. Despite the fixture, I think Haaland can score in any. I believe no matter how hard or difficult it is for Man City and the way they're playing at the moment, it looks like I can see Haaland doing really well again against Chelsea, despite the defense being relatively strong at times in matches. I still think Haaland can still score behind Chelsea.
Elliot with a question: Brantwaite to Van Heck for free, so I can fill the 5-3-2 formation. I wouldn't want to play a 5-3-2 if I'm being honest. I just don't think there's that many good defenders in the game, so I wouldn't be going to a back 5. Yassine, who to play, Foden or Adingra? Jordan, who are you playing? Adingra, obviously Brighton. Who do Brighton have this weekend?
They have Sheffield. No, sorry, not Sheffield.
And obviously Foden's got Chelsea.
I'll be playing Foden, I think.
Brighton have Sheffield. Yes, you're correct.
Yeah. I think I'll play Foden. I'm honest. I just have a good funny feeling about Foden in that Chelsea game. He seems to turn up for big games like that. Because he did turn up for the Newcastle one. And yeah, he's one of those players that I think does well in harder, difficult fixtures than he does in obviously easier ones. But I think Adingra is a nice shout to go for as well against Sheffield. Because that could be one of these fixtures where he does get a return as well.
Elika says, what do you guys think about Eze as a differential? Yeah, big fan of Eze. I think he's a great player. And again, the fixtures look very nice. He's back from injury. He's going to start. He did play 32 minutes against Burnley in the win last weekend. Just coming back, got an assist within the 32 minutes. And then the fixtures look very nice now. With Eze, he's one that I wanted to bring into my team pre-injury, but obviously he went and got injured. For this run, Everton, Luton, West Ham, Bournemouth, those are some nice fixtures, and I do like Eze as a pick for sure. If you are looking for a different midfielder, ownership is very low, I believe, as well. It's only 3.4%, and I definitely like that as a move. This weekend, good fixture, Luton as well next week, and I'd want Eze in my team personally instead of Palmer this week. Obviously, Palmer's not got the fixtures, so I wouldn't mind a Palmer to Eze, but then I'll have to do a Eze back to Palmer in game week 16. Bench one of Cash, Gabriel, Eze, Alvarez. Who are you going, Jordan?
I'd probably bench Cash out of those three because Gabriel has a nice fixture. Eze has a nice fixture as well. And Alvarez, I think I still play Alvarez even though he has Chelsea away. I think the duo of Haaland and Alvarez, despite them not scoring in that 6-1 win over Bournemouth, I can see either Alvarez or Haaland scoring against Chelsea. So I don't think I would want to bench Alvarez for that game. And I'd definitely play Gabriel, Eze, and Alvarez just for the fixtures.
George says, "How are we, boys? Yeah, we're good, George. Hope you're well as always." Dan the man, thoughts on Diaz's chance of playing? Cheers. Yeah, look, Luis Diaz. Very good news. I think over the last couple of days, his father has been released, so he's now obviously free after the terrible situation that Luis Diaz was going through. Luis Diaz did start on Thursday night in the Europa League, so he did play. Did he play 90 minutes? He played a lot of those minutes though. But do I think he'll start? I think he will. I believe he is in Liverpool's front three, the best front three. So I think Liverpool's, well, if it's up to me, I think Liverpool's best front three is Salah, Nunez, and Diaz. I think that's and then Jota coming in and Gakpo coming in. So I think he'll start. However, I don't think he'll get 90 minutes. So he could get subbed off after 70, etc. for a Gakpo, for a Jota. Again, that's the reason why I don't go with the other Liverpool midfielders. They're all prone to rotation. Even Darwin, you've seen, Darwin will start, I believe, against Brentford. But the problem with the fixtures coming up and players like Darwin and Diaz, you see game week 13 is after the international break. Game week 14 is where it gets interesting because Liverpool have Fulham at home, right, on the 3rd of December. So let's say Darwin and Diaz start against Fulham. 3 days later, they play Sheffield. And then 3 days later after that, they've got Palace. So that's 3 games in 6 days. There's no way Darwin and Diaz are going to start all 3 of these games. There's going to be rotation. And that's why I'm kind of put off bringing in a Darwin because I'm a big fan of Darwin. But I believe in this run-in from 14 to 16, because there's back-to-back games, within the space of 3 days, I think Darwin will probably miss one of these games. Gakpo will get a game. So that's why Salah for me is the one that I go towards because he's going to play 90 minutes. He's on penalties. If he as long as he's fit, he's going to play every game, every minute. He's just a machine. So yeah, for that reason, you'll be fine with Diaz probably this game. But going forward, especially game week 14 to 16, in the Christmas period, I'd be worried about the other Liverpool attackers. But saying that though, actually going back to that, saying that they have high upside. Nunez can get you 2 goals this game week, and then you're laughing. So it's that risk reward, with those players.
Yeah, hopefully he's more successful than he was at Luton.
Yep. Hi guys, I've got Neto, Van der Ven, Romero on the bench. Don't want to take a minus.
So no bench, pretty much.
I mean, if you've got a nice 11 looks good, then you can just play your 11 if you don't really want to take a minus. But I would want to remove someone.
Yeah.
But whether it's a -4, if you don't have 11 playing players, I will take a -4. Question for you, Salah. Are you planning on bringing him in soon, or are you just happy to kind of go without him for a while longer still?
Yeah, I think I'm happy to go without Salah for a while longer. I think eventually down the line I will have to bring Salah in because my rank the past 3 game weeks has not moved at all, and that's mostly because of Salah. And it's starting to get to the point now I might have to actually bring him in and try and fit him into my team, but it's hard to because I need 2-3 transfers to do that. And every week when I've been trying to save 2-3 transfers, there's been something that's popped up, which has stopped me from obviously saving the transfer, which I would have liked to do this game week, but unfortunately, I'm going to have to use another transfer because I wanted 2-3 going forward into the international break. But yeah, at this current moment in time, I think I might have to bring Salah in soon. Preferably, it may have to be when they have Sheffield United in game week 15. I think that's a good fixture to bring him in for.
Also, the one thing regarding Salah and obviously other African players, they will be going on the African Cup of Nations, which is this year. So Salah probably ain't going to be a long-term hold anyway because he's going to go to AFCON. So I believe that's around game week. I want to say, let me just see when that is. Around what, game week 19, 20 probably? I think game week 2021 where he goes to AFCON. So we'll have to deal with that. I think Mbeumo is another. I believe he goes as well. There's a few players as well that we've got to think about in that sense. Even blank game week, obviously, we've got to look at game week 18 is a blank. Bowen and Lascelles will play 3-4-3 and get Gordon and Mitoma. I think you're happy with, I'll be happy with Bowen and Lascelles.
Gordon and Mitoma look tasty. I mean, Mitoma has Sheffield United at home. Gordon has Bournemouth away. I do like those attacking picks this week.
David says Bruno or Bowen. I would go with Bowen because West Ham are just better than Man United right now. And Bowen's I've been impressed with Bowen this season. Yeah, he's had some few disappointing moments where you'd probably expect a few more points from him, but I'm just avoiding Man United in general. But Bruno does have a good fixture. If you want to bring Bruno in, he's going to be super low owned. He's got Luton. He could get you a haul. He could get a penalty, and then he'll get 3 bonus points, and then you're in. But yeah, I'm not keen on United right now. SJ, anyone else going with Haaland captain? I mean, you are, Jordan. Talk us through. I mean, you've already kind of explained why you've gone Haaland, but yeah, I mean, you're going Haaland, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm going Haaland captain. I think if I had Salah, I probably would have been tempted to go with Salah captain, but because I haven't got really any other good captain picks in my team for this week, I'm set on going Haaland captain. I think it's not a bad shout. I think I'm pretty confident with Haaland captaincy against Chelsea because you don't know what to expect from Chelsea as well. And when they're going to obviously meet a in-form Man City at their home stadium, and we've seen with Chelsea, they have lost very heavily at home, especially with Brentford. They lost, I think it was 2-0 to Brentford.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm not completely worried about Haaland captain because I feel like Chelsea are going to have an upset at home again.
Yeah, with Haaland, it's never a bad captaincy. You can perma captain Haaland all season and you'll be fine. It's just certain moments in the season where you want to go a bit different. You think you can get more points with another player, like a Salah, for example, this week. So yeah. Jenny Jota for captain this week. Interesting. Very interesting. I don't know if he'll start, but it's an interesting pick because he did come on against Toulouse and scored a really nice goal. Took his goal really well. So maybe he gets the nod ahead of Diaz on the left side. Haas, is Triple Villa a long-term plan? Says David. Definitely not. I don't want Triple Villa too much longer after this game week. This might be the last game week I have Triple Villa, if I'm being honest. So take a look at Villa. I don't want to sell them before Fulham at home. But after that, Spurs, Bournemouth, Man City, Arsenal, Brentford. I'll probably get rid of Diaby. Again, even Watkins could go. I'm not completely against getting rid of Watkins. I'm a big fan of Darwin, as you guys know. And I want to get Darwin into my team. But as I said earlier, regarding the Christmas period and Liverpool playing, 3 games in 9 days, I'm just not sure how many minutes Darwin will get in that period. Starting, that is. My defense right now is Cash, Gurhi, Simicast, Udogi, and Botman. Do you think I need to make a defensive transfer for a -4 this week? Would you make a transfer?
You got Cash and Go, he will play. Simicast, that's probably not. So you have 2 playing defenders and may not be playing third. So I think it depends on who you have on your bench, George, to replace. Obviously, you got your dog and Botman, so not really any replacements there. Yeah, I think you would have to make a transfer if you wanted a starting 11, especially in the back three defenders. I think you would have to take maybe Simicast out, yeah, because he's probably not going to play this week.
Yeah, I think I'd probably do a -4. Cash, Gurhey, Trip, Simicast might play. No one really knows. But that benching did worry me last weekend. And also, as a Liverpool fan watching, Simicast has not had the best of the last 2 weeks. It's not been great, especially in that Europa League game. Klopp could just opt for Gomez, and I wouldn't be surprised. If it was up to me, I wouldn't play Simicast because I don't think it's warranted to start for that game anyway. But that's just me watching the games. Who to bench? Gabriel, Trent, Cash, Alvarez. Oh, it's a hard one.
Trent Cash. Oh, yeah.
Probably Gabriel.
Yeah, Gabriel.
Even though that Gabriel will probably get you a clean sheet, and Trent probably won't. Trent. I don't think Trent will get you a clean sheet, but Trent could get you an assist. But Trent's not getting many assists so far this season. He's not getting the numbers in previous seasons, and a lot of that is down to this inverted thing Liverpool are doing again, because I don't think it's working as well as it did back end of last season. So if it was up to me, I'd be moving Trent into midfield because I just don't like him in that right back inverted role so far this season. Are you going triple Chelsea from Game Week 16? If so, which 3 are the best assets? Nope, definitely not going triple Chelsea. I think 1 is fine, 2 is pushing it, and 3 I wouldn't go 3 unless they show some amazing form in the next few weeks. But I don't think you need triple Chelsea because they're just not showing that sort of performance to warrant that. I'm happy with Palmer.
I think if you were tempted to go with triple assets for Chelsea, I think the best 3 at this moment in time are Cole Palmer, Sterling, and Nicholas Jackson. I think they're the standout players and the ones that will play a lot of minutes for Chelsea.
Yeah, I think obviously Nkunku's one to watch because he could be returning from injury soon, I believe. So Nkunku is definitely a player that I rate highly. I've watched him in the Champions League for Leipzig. He's a good player, and I think he'll improve that Chelsea attack. And I will be surprised if he doesn't start games. But yeah, if you guys are still watching the stream, guys, make sure you do smash the like button. There's not enough likes on the video, so please do hit the like button. Thank you to all the new subscribers as well. If you haven't already, if you're a new watcher for the first time, hit that subscribe button as well, and make sure you are ringing that notification bell. Hit that notification bell so you get notified when we go live. But yeah, time for the transfers. Just quickly read out your team, actually, because we haven't read out your team yet. What's your team and your transfers?
Yeah, so you've got Everiola in goal. In the back three, you've got Simicast, Luka Dean, and Trippier. In the midfield, we've got Son, Maddison, Bowen, and Saka. And up front, we've got Alvarez, Haaland, and Watkins. And on the bench, we've got Leno and Andreas, Branthwaite, and Taylor. Now, yeah, there's a lot of flags. Obviously, the Saka and Branthwaite one are not as much to be worried about as obviously the Maddison one, because it has been confirmed Maddison's out for several weeks, so he won't be back any time this year. He'll be back next year in the new year. So it was an injury we all fought for that it shouldn't be serious, but turns out it is. So yeah, Maddison is a red flag and won't be played against Wolves away. So that does give me the priority to transfer out Maddison this week, which is a shame because I would like to roll the transfer over and obviously into the international break, but this has forced me into obviously making a transfer. So I'll just switch to my transfer page, and yeah, I'm going to take out Maddison for this week, and the player I'm going to bring in, I did speak about this player in obviously the team selection video, and I'm going to bring in Mitoma, who has Sheffield United at home. Now, Brighton do have nice fixtures long term after this as well, and I think this is the right time to bring Mitoma in with Sheffield United at home. It is the fixture that I think he should do well in, but it's one of those fixtures where you see the main player being left out and the other players around him scoring. But I think even if he doesn't do well in Sheffield United at home, he has a lot more nice fixtures after that where he could put in a performance. Now, he did play 90 minutes against Ajax in the Europa League, which at the time, it did leave me a bit worried because Zerbi likes to rotate, especially with players that have played enough competitions in a short period of time. But yeah, I'm hoping that Matoma should play. He is the main player for Brighton, and yeah, that will be my transfer. I think going forward into this week, I'll actually make it now because we are close to the deadline, and I don't think I'll be changing my mind whatsoever. So
Yeah,
I will make
I'll
it
let you
now.
do that because obviously I need to make my moves as well. We've got 15 minutes left and I haven't made my transfers. So
Yeah.
I'll let you do that first live.
So yeah,
I'll read.
Madison out, Matoma in for 1 free transfer. I just confirm that, and we'll just switch over to the other page and refresh. Yeah, Matoma is in the team. That is my game week 12 team now locked. I'm hoping that Saka obviously plays and starts against Burnley at home, but other than that,
Also,
obviously Simicast as well. But
I'm hearing Saka starts apparently. So don't.
okay,
Apparently, like Saka will start. That's what the rumors are. So we'll wait and see on that one.
obviously rumors are normally true.
Yeah, but nice team, set up pretty well, I think. Going back to my team just to make my move. Obviously, I was looking at, for those that are just joining in, I was looking at Dan Burn to Livramento as the move. Just going on transfers. I'm not keen on keeping Simicast either, if I'm being honest. Leave me 5.3. You know who I could go to? I've got the exact money to bring Saliba in. Saliba's got some nice fixtures, and I can just play double Arsenal defense because I'm pretty sure Arsenal are going to keep a clean sheet against Burnley. So that's going to be an easy, 6-pointer. Do I bring Arsenal double defense in though? Because I've looked at it. Saliba in. I'm playing a double Arsenal defense with cash.
Yes, but how long would you want that double Arsenal defense?
I'd play him against Burnley. Brentford, maybe not a clean sheet, but Wolves clean sheet. Potentially Luton, I think clean sheet probably as well. Villa, Brighton, Liverpool's tough. So I wouldn't want to play Saliba there. But after that, look, 19, 20, 21, 22 is not bad as well. You could play Saliba in all these games. Because I'm not too fond of the double attack on Arsenal. More interested in them defensively, probably. But just a thought. Obviously, it's not as exciting. Obviously, he's not really going to get you a goal or an assist. So that's where my thinking is currently. But yeah, I don't know if I want to move to that though. Let me know, guys, in the chat. Do I go Arsenal double defense, bring Saliba in, or do I go Livramento and play the upside and chase a bit of a differential? I'm tempted with Livramento just because it's more exciting.
I would go for a Brighton defender if it was me.
Brighton defender.
Yeah, because that I think I see a automatic clean sheet for Brighton, even though they have not had a clean sheet this season. Surely against Sheffield United at home, you see a first clean sheet for Brighton.
I wanted a Brighton defender, and that was Estupiñán, but we saw what happened in the Europa League. Estupiñán came on, and came back off, got injured, and even Lewis Dunk, I believe, is flagged now.
Oh, really?
I think Lewis Dunk went off injured as well. So for that reason, I'm not too keen on Brighton right now. Who would you get? Maybe Van Heck has been mentioned in the chat.
Yeah, just touch on Lewis Dunk's injury. He was taken off against Ajax. Obviously, his manager doesn't think the issue is too serious, but he's unlikely to face Sheffield United. So yeah, that rules out Brighton defenders.
Yeah. You know what? I'm probably going to go Livramento because it's just different, and I want something exciting in my team. And that's how I like to play the game. But Saliba's probably a banker for a clean sheet. You like to think against Burnley at home.
Yeah, should be. I only see a goal coming from an own goal against that. But other than
the only way
yeah.
Arsenal conceded will probably be an own goal. But saying that, last famous words, Burnley 1-0.
I'd be very surprised. but it's possible.
I got 10 minutes. Don't know if I want an Arsenal double up, How have Arsenal been faring in terms of their clean sheets, though? Like, they didn't keep a clean sheet against Newcastle. They kept on against Sheffield, kept on against City, kept on against Bournemouth, against Everton. They are keeping clean sheets. And the fixtures are good. Burnley, Brentford, Wolves, Luton. I can see at least 3 clean sheets in the next 4. 5.3 million is quite expensive, though. If I want to do other moves, like a DRB up to a Bowen or whoever, then I probably would need money. And Livramento.
Yeah, Livramento saves a lot of money. 4.3 million.
Yeah, well, he's $1 million cheaper than Saliba. Obviously, Saliba is nailed. He's going to play every game. There's not much attacking threat from him. And obviously, Newcastle fixtures aren't amazing. Chelsea, Man United, Everton, Spurs. But I think I'm going to go Livramento because he's different a bit more, and ownership obviously 0.5%. That's going to go up, I think, for sure.
Yeah, in the absence of obviously Dan Burn now, a lot of people will look at Livramento, especially if he plays ahead of Trippier.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, I'm going to go for it, I think.
Because you were set on Gurhi in the team.
Yeah. I wanted Gurhi, but Gurhi doesn't have that, attacking threat, really. It's more of the clean sheet. And Tsimikas has been a problem. If I knew Tsimikas was going to start and he was playing well, then I would have probably just rolled. But Livramento, I probably would want him later down the line anyway. Bournemouth, again, is a nice fixture. And if he plays at right back, who knows what that could be. And in these 2 fixtures, and he kind of has to play because Newcastle don't have anyone else. And Lewis Hall doesn't seem to be getting the minutes.
Yeah,
So I know he probably will play, but it's just taking that bit of a punt, I guess, on him.
And Eddie Howe would prefer a player that's played minutes this season rather than one that hasn't.
Yeah, with Livramento, I mean, he hasn't played much himself. He played 20 minutes in Game Week 6. He played 21 minutes against Palace. But that 45 minutes against Arsenal was impressive. And then I think in the Champions League, I believe he played again. So he does seem like now the preferred guy that Eddie Howe's going to go to.
Yeah, I have a good feeling that Livramento will probably play and maybe potentially get a nice return in that game. You never know. Livramento was good at some point at Southampton.
Oh, yeah, he was very good at Southampton. Yeah. And obviously got unlucky injury.
So we may see a repeat performance with his hopeful start against Bournemouth.
Yeah, it's not normally how I play the game, It seems a bit of a risky thing to do. Yeah, I guess I got to decide. Got 5 minutes. I'm going to do it. Okay, guys, there you go. I'm going to do the move. So what was it? Dan Burn for Livramento. For free. Confirm. Don't know how I feel about it. I'm going to start Livramento ahead of Tsimikas. Save. Salah captain. And that's the team. Let me know what you guys think. Got to Livramento. Too late, Roman. Could you maybe go Shah or Lascelles for that guarantee? Too late. Yeah, that's done now. Hopefully he starts. I bet he doesn't. I bet Gabriel gets benched as well and Kuvio plays. Something crazy.
No, you can't. You can't have that misfortune again this game week. Surely not.
Elika as well. Gone with Collins. At Brentford. Fair enough. Good move. Either way for now. Yeah, let's see let's see. We'll be streaming tomorrow, Knee Jerk, and you join us tomorrow evening, 7 p.m. UK time, while we react to how our teams have done. Hopefully, it's a good one. Hopefully, it's a good one.
Yeah, it should be a good one. We shouldn't have a repeat performance of. Let's not mention it, but last game week, where we saw a complete disaster. So this should make up for it. It can't get any worse. So it can only get better.
Yeah, hopefully it's not as bad as last game week, because that was. I mean, I've played FPL for a while, and that I've never had a worse game week. I mean, that was probably the worst game week on FPL ever. I backed the Saliba move if you didn't have another Arsenal defender, in my opinion. I can see 2 Arsenal clean sheets. Yes, I also think it's a good idea. But I think it's more boring. Jenny said Saliba as well. A few Saliba shouts. Thoughts on Szoboszlai? I missed this one. Not sure yet. I mean, Szoboszlai has looked a bit tired in the last couple of games, I think. But he's a great player. Before he's priced around 7.5, I think he's slightly too expensive to come into my team. If he was around the 6 million mark, I think he'd be in. I think he's just a bit too expensive for my team, but I do like him as a pick. Maybe later down the line, we'll see. He's just not playing as further forward for me at the moment. He's doing a lot of defensive work, so was like tracking back, pressing, etc. What do you think about Pedro from Brighton? I don't know. Is he going to start, Jordan? You reckon, João Pedro?
That's the thing. He did score against Ajax midweek, which I suppose that may affect João Pedro's minutes going forward into Sheffield United. He may be benched, and then maybe Ferguson will play. It's hard to tell, really. I mean, with Brighton players like Pedro, because he's not played consistently for Brighton this season so far, so it's hard to know what De Zerbi has in mind going forward into Sheffield United. But
yeah,
I think either way, Pedro or Ferguson, I think for 1 week punt, I think it's worth going for, if I'm honest, even if they don't play 90 minutes, either one of them, because I could see them scoring early on in that game, and if they do score early on from either one of those players, then it's worthwhile. Obviously, it's paid off, so I think it's a risk worth going for about Pedro, or if you're looking to go for Ferguson, either way.
Yeah, I'd probably not. I'll probably take Pedro out. I just don't know if he'll start. He's a headache for me every week. When I had him early on the season, got a penalty and then was benched the game after. So he's just a headache for me, João Pedro. I benched Son and starting Palmer. I mean, hopefully not. I mean, I wouldn't be doing that, but yeah. Nice to see you in the chat, Pranav. Do you think Højlund gonna get a brace this week? I think Højlund did score twice against was it Copenhagen in the Champions League, so he's looking okay, looking like he's got a bit of goal scoring form. However, he hasn't actually scored a goal in the Premier League so far. Could he get a brace? I think he could. So I don't hate Højlund this week. Differential against Luton, we'll have a bit of confidence. But again, as you guys know, I'm avoiding all Man United players for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, Haaland looked convincing in the first 40. Oh, sorry, Højlund looked convincing in the first 40 minutes in that Copenhagen game. But after that Rashford red card, that's when it all just turned to non-convincing. Man United again just went back to what it was normally. And I think if Højlund and Man United can have a good start in this fixture in game week 12, then yeah, I can see him getting something from this week. If they're convincing, that's the question.
Start Alvarez, I think, Pranav. Captained Eze as well, says Ellicott. Interesting.
Nice.
Saka news, says JC. I think the rumors are Saka's going to start. So, again, it's not 100% accurate, but apparently Saka will start. But don't quote me on that one. You both support United? Nope. I'm Liverpool. And obviously...
Yeah, I'm Man United, Dan.
Yeah, it's a bit of rivalry. But yeah, Liverpool. Kitty, Pop, Palmer or Maguire? Ooh, I'm saying all that about Man United. I'll probably play Maguire because Palmer's got Man City. And I didn't want to play Palmer this week, but I feel like I have no choice. I'd rather play Tsimikas, who's got Brentford, or Archer, who's got Brighton. I mean, I could play Archer against Brighton.
Yeah,
It's too late.
Oh,
Deadline,
yeah.
but I just think Palmer's on penalties, and you never know. Chelsea could just get a penalty, and then bang, there you go. It's a penalty. You know, he's got a goal. So
Yeah, at the same time, Brighton are out Lewis Dunk, Estupinian, and they haven't kept a clean sheet this season.
yeah, I'd love a Palmer goal. I just can't see it this week. Obviously, Man City is as tough as it gets. Never know. I'll be hoping for a Palmer goal or even an assist. I'll love an assist. I'll take that all day. But yeah, I think that is it, guys, for the deadline. Hope you guys locked in your moves. And we've got to do score predictions. So Archer not start. He played 90 minutes against Wolves, played 30 against Arsenal. I mean, he does start pretty much. He started every game in the last 6, bar one against Arsenal. So he does start Archer.
Yeah.
Jenny Berry says you'll never walk alone. Yeah, another Liverpool fan in the chat. Let us know who you guys support as well, guys. In the chat. But yeah, time for score predictions. I'm gonna share my screen. Where are the score predictions? There you go, guys. We've got to do score predictions, so don't go anywhere. First up, Wolves against Spurs. Spurs with a bunch of injuries, bunch of suspensions. Are they gonna potentially struggle here against Wolves?
Yeah, this is going to be a struggle for both teams. I think they've both been hit with a lot of injuries and misfortune. I think Wolves will score, but I think Spurs will still win the game. So I'm going to go with 2-1 Spurs.
2-1 Spurs. I'm going to go for is it early kickoff as well? Ooh. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I'm going to go 1-1 Wolves to get a point somehow. And I think Spurs might potentially have a bit of a hiccup here. Next up, we've got Arsenal against Burnley at home. How do you see this one going? Hopefully Saka does start. And yeah, it should be a win for Arsenal here, surely.
Yeah, it should be a winning clean sheet for Arsenal at home at the Emirates. And yeah, I see a nice win for Arsenal. I'm going to say 2-0. I'm not going to say it's going to be high scoring because we have seen drop off with Arsenal.
I'm going to go for the same scoreline. I'm going to go 2-0 Arsenal. Hopefully Saka can get us some points this week. But yeah, 2-0 Arsenal. Clean sheet as well. So maybe should have backed the Saliba shout in that one. Palace at home to Everton is the next game today. Do you see a Palace win? Do you see Everton getting something away from home?
Yeah, so I could go either way. I could see this one being end-to-end for both sides. I'm going to go for a draw. I'm going to go for 2-2.
2-2, okay. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Palace win, home win. Eze again, maybe on the score sheet, one to watch in the coming weeks. Man United at home to your Luton, Jordan, your team. Obviously, Man United coming off the back of that loss against Copenhagen. Luton actually having a very impressive draw against Liverpool last game week. Do you think Man United will win this one, being at home?
Well, I'm hoping so. I mean, it's going to be very not good if they lose against Luton, especially at their Old Trafford. But yes, regardless, they should get the win. Whether it's an easy or hard win or a very fortunate win, it should be a win at the end of the day. I'm going to predict a score of, I'm going to go 2-1 Man United.
2-1 Man United. Interesting. I'm going to go for 1-0. I think we'll go 1-0 clean sheet. I don't think Luton will score, but we'll see. I'll go for a 1-0 Man United win. And Maguire owners will probably rejoice, obviously, after the clean sheet. So yeah, 1-0 Man United. Next, we've got Bournemouth at home to Newcastle, which is the late kickoff today. Thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I do see Bournemouth scoring in this game, just because of the lack of defense that Newcastle have now. But I see Newcastle winning it still. I'm gonna go with I'll go with 3-1 Newcastle.
I'll go 3-0 Newcastle. I think it'll be a clean sheet away from home. But, Bournemouth have shown they can score goals, but they're not great. Newcastle should win this one quite comfortably, and I think they will. So, yeah, 3-0 Newcastle. Then we've got 5 fixtures on Sunday. No Monday game, which is good in terms of FPL, because then we can get our scores all out of the way for the knee-jerk stream. So make sure you do join us tomorrow, 7 p.m, guys, for the knee-jerk live reaction, where we react to game week 12. But yeah, first up, Aston Villa at home to Fulham. What do you think about Aston Villa? Obviously, coming off the back of a disappointing loss to Forest, do you see them bouncing back? Because obviously they've had a good start to the season.
Yeah, it should be a nice fixture for Aston Villa to bounce back in at home. I think they want to get back on the track of winning matches after that defeat against Nottingham Forest. In terms of prediction for this score prediction, I'm going to go with 2-1 Aston Villa. I still think they will concede, but they should win.
Yeah, I'm going to actually say the same scoreline. I'm going to go 2-1 Villa. Hopefully, Watkins, Diaby. I need something big from you this week, so make sure you score or get an assist. So yeah, I'm looking at Diaby because it could be his last week in my team. So yeah, 2-1 Villa. We'll see how it goes. Brighton at home against Sheffield next. So you've just transferred in Mitoma. How do you see this one going?
Yeah, hopefully there's no rotation with Mitoma in this game. But yeah, I see this one going Brighton's way. I'm not sure if there's a clean sheet in there for Brighton, but they should get the win against Sheffield. So I'm going to go with 3-1 Brighton. I think hopefully Mitoma's on the score sheet.
I'll go for a 2-0 win for Brighton at home, clean sheet. And yeah, I think it'll be fairly comfortable for Brighton. I expect them to win. They did play in the Europa League, but I still think they'll have too much for Sheffield. Next up, we've got my team, Liverpool at home to Brentford. Again, I don't think this one's going to be an easy game, but yeah, Liverpool coming off the back of that disappointing draw to Luton, and also losing in the Europa League against Toulouse, even though that was a rotated side. What do you think of Liverpool? Because obviously, this is a bit, Liverpool have to win, surely, after that draw against Luton.
Yeah, after that draw against Luton, they want to bounce back and get the nice 3 points against Brentford. It's very hard to play at Anfield. A lot of teams don't really get much success from there, so I do see Liverpool win. I'm going to go with an interesting prediction. I'm going to go with 3-2 Liverpool. I think it's going to be a few dramas in that game, but Liverpool should get the win.
So what's the score?
I said 3-2.
3-2. Oh, okay, wow, okay, 3-2. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if something like that. I think there could be a goals in this game, because we've seen in previous Liverpool-Brentford games, there've been score fests. I think there's been a couple 3-2s. I remember a couple seasons back. So yeah, could happen. I'm going to go for a Liverpool win, but I think it's going to be a tough game for Liverpool. I don't think it will be an easy one at all. I just have a feeling Liverpool do have quite a few injuries themselves. Gravenberch is a big blow, I think. Jones, I believe, has still got carrying a knock. In midfield, I believe. Oh, sorry, McAllister as well. He's red carded, wasn't he? No, not red carded. He's suspension. Yellow cards. He picked up 5 yellow cards, so he's suspended for that game. So McAllister's a blow. Gravenberch is a blow. Who else is missing? Jones, as I mentioned. So Liverpool, that midfield three could be something like Endo, who is not lit the world alight so far. Could be Elliott again in there, and then Szoboszlai. So that midfield does worry me going into that physical game against Brentford, who usually like to be physical and then make the game difficult. So I think it'll be a tough one, but I'll go Liverpool 2-1. Next up, West Ham at home to Forest. What do you think of this one?
Yeah, this is another feisty game, I think, because not the Forest coming from a massive win against Aston Villa, 2-0. West Ham, on the other hand, they come off of a loss as well, so they want to come back fighting. So it's going to be at the end, I think, this match. I'm going to go with... Well, it's going to be a tough one. I'm going to go with 2-2, I think. I think there'll be a draw in this.
Yeah, it's always tough to predict West Ham games, I feel like, this season. But yeah, I'm going to go for a win for West Ham here, 2-1 home win. And maybe Bowen to get on a score sheet. Next up, final game for the weekend, which is the big one, I think, this weekend, where most of us will be watching, I think. Chelsea at home to Man City. With Chelsea having a good result on Monday night against Tottenham. Man City carrying on what they do, which is win. How do you see this one going?
Yeah, this might be an interesting prediction that I'm going to make because a lot of people are not going to probably agree with this, but I do see a Man City win. I think Chelsea are going to struggle at home. I don't think it's going to be much in it for Chelsea, if I'm honest. The prediction I'm going to go for, this may upset Chelsea fans, I'm sorry, but I'm going to go with 3-1 Man City.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna actually predict a Man City win as well. I think Man City will win. I'm gonna go for 2-1 though. I don't think Chelsea will let him free. I think it'll be a bit more tighter, but I think Man City will win the game. So I'll go for a 2-1 win for Man City, away win, and hopefully Palmer can get something for me anyway. And in terms of a goal or assist, anything, I'll take it in this game. But I'm not expecting much. But yeah, that's the score predictions out the way, guys. Let us know what you guys think of your predictions as well. Pranav with a couple of predictions in, which is FPL Stockbroker with a comment of Watkins as my captain. Interesting.
Very different.
Differential for sure.
There's a lot of variation. Captainers in the chat. You've got Watkins, you've got Son, Saka.
Yep. But that is it from us, guys. Let us know. Let us know. Let us know your score predictions, as I said in the chat. But we are out of here for today. We want to say a massive thank you to everyone who has joined the stream and watched the video. It's been a good chat. Also, I want to thank you to all the new subscribers. It's been we're getting a few subscribers off this stream. So as always, hit that like button. It helps the channel grow, and also all your comments. Also, if you can share the videos, or make sure you share the video. And yeah, that is it from us. We're back tomorrow, 7 p.m. Hopefully, we'll see you there. Anything else you want to add, Jordan, before we wrap it up?
Yeah, all the best of luck, guys, this week. Hopefully, we have a better game week than last. And yeah, have a nice weekend in whatever you're doing in terms of not watching football. But yeah, take care, and we'll see you tomorrow to see how you guys have done, and obviously how we've done in our teams. But until then, see you soon.